It's a good bounce back win for us today. I thought we started the game with the right tone on the defensive end. And so that was that was by design.
Everyone was afraid of the announcement, but no one really anticipated it. The relationship between Caitlin Clark and Team USA has been irreparably destroyed following months of quiet, strange interviews, and one of the most contentious Olympic snubs in sports history. Fans were expecting for a reunion before the next international cycle, but coach Cheryl Reeve is said to have strengthened her position. This is a startling development that insiders are calling the tipping point. Even if you thought the 2024 roster turmoil was awful, what transpired behind closed doors has permanently altered women's basketball's destiny. The relationship between the organization that is meant to represent the sport and its face is completely collapsing. A closed-door training camp that was meant to be a new beginning for the program is the cause of the most recent explosion. What ought to have been Clark's chance to prove herself evolved into an obvious act of contempt, according to leaked sources from inside the gym. Witnesses said the Fever superstar wasn't only treated like a rookie during important scrimmage runs. She was being actively chilled. We are discussing the coaching staff running plays for veterans who may be past their prime, while the world's most dangerous scorer is made to stand in the corner. The response Clark allegedly received when she sought clarification on her job was not coaching. Her specific position in the hierarchy was shown by the cold shoulder. This has nothing to do with basketball strategy. It conveyed a message. However, instructor Cheryl Reeve was the true spark that ignited this fire. Reeve has persisted in making remarks that supporters are taking as a direct jab at Clark's playing style rather than easing the tension. Reeves recently responded dismissively to a question from the media about incorporating emerging superstars into the system, emphasizing harmony and paying dues. The Olympic snub is justified by the same old story, but it feels more intimate this time. The idea that this is no longer about basketball is becoming unavoidable. It is about a coach who won't let a 22-year-old star to control her team's culture. Even if that player is the only reason millions of people are watching, Reeve seems committed to demonstrating that the system is larger than any one individual. What then did Caitlin Clark do? She didn't complain on social media or have a tantrum. Sources close to her side claim that she essentially resigned silently. According to the allegations, Clark has reportedly turned down invites to future minicamps, indicating that she is tired of making sacrifices for a coaching staff that obviously doesn't want her there. "I don't need you," is screamed in this power move. "I'm necessary for you." Team USA will have to figure out how to market a team that is lacking the biggest attraction in the sport, as Clark is completely shifting her attention to the WNBA and her winter preparation. She has come to the conclusion that her brand is resilient enough to endure without the Olympic rings. Can Team USA, however, function without her? The headquarters of USA Basketball and their broadcast partners are in complete panic as a result of this quiet resignation. They are aware of the number. Clark was the only reason the WNBA's ratings skyrocketed. Executives are aware that a 2028 Olympic run without Caitlin Clark would be a financial catastrophe, even though the national team's viewership has stayed static in comparison. There are already rumors that big sponsors are lobbying the federation to step in, which might force them to choose between the generational talent that pays the bills and a Hall of Fame coach. Nike must be pleased to see its star athlete hindered by a coach who appears to be stuck in the past after investing millions in Clark. The money speaks, and it is currently yelling that this issue needs to be resolved. This isn't just a coach versus player B, which exacerbates the situation. The locker room is being torn apart by it. A new generation of younger talent is seeing this scenario with dread, while some senior players are allegedly supporting Reeve because they think the hierarchy should be respected. They wonder if they will be the next target after witnessing how the league's face is being handled. The chemistry that Reeve says he is protecting is actually decaying from the inside out if the rumors are accurate. Players are reportedly treading carefully because they fear that publicly endorsing Clark may place them on the bench next to her due to the level of animosity. The team's dominance on the international scene is in jeopardy due to the widening gap between the old guard and the next generation. To comprehend why Clark left the camp, we must examine the details of the alleged sabotage. According to insiders, the offensive sets were purposefully intended to prevent Clark from handling the ball. Removing the ball from a playmaker is like cutting their wing in a sport where timing is crucial. According to reports, teammates who were adhering to the sideline's stringent instructions ignored or waved off Clark whenever she made a move or called for a screen. It was a pointless and degrading activity. Imagine being forced to use a decoy for the duration of a practice session while being the world's greatest shooter. Lesser players are broken by this type of psychological warfare. However, it seemed to just make Clark's choice more clear. The consequences go beyond the court and affect USA Basketball's reputation in general. The program has taken great pride in fielding the best talent available for decades. They are going against their own fundamental beliefs by alienating Clark. Social media is overflowing with fans who refer to the group as a country club where relationships are more important than talent. More people than ever before are questioning the selecting process's integrity. Leaving home the game's most potent offensive weapon is malpractice if the objective is to win gold medals. It contributes to the developing perception that the current leadership is more concerned about upholding its individual FFTs than with changing with the game. Additionally, there is a darker perspective among analysts that suggests creating such an unwelcoming and hostile environment was part of the original plan. It's possible that the coaching staff was pressuring Clark to resign in order to avoid having to fire her once more. Cutting her sparks a media frenzy. Her decision to leave gives them the opportunity to portray her as uncommitted or incapable of succeeding. Although that's a Machiavellian tactic, it hasn't worked. Clark appears to be the victim of an organized freeze-out rather than a quitter. And she has the overwhelming support of the population. The story that Clark isn't good enough isn't being accepted by the fans. They witnessed her actions in the WNBA. They are aware of the reality. Let's take a closer look at the Coach Reeve element. Unquestionably, Reeve is a legend with a trophy cabinet full of rings, but when the game shifts beneath their Clark is an example of a basketball style. Large volume, deep range, velocity, and space that run against to the conventional, organized post-heavy approach that Reeve has long supported. There is a philosophical conflict here. Reeve saw Clark as a liability based on his defensive lapses and turnovers. The rest of the world perceives a revolution when they observe her gravity and playmaking. Reeve is arguing that her system is more significant than the talent itself by refusing to modify it to accommodate a generational talent. That kind of rigidity typically results in a pink slip in professional sports. The remainder of the Team USA lineup is utterly silent. Leaders like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi may have filled the void in the past, but there is a noticeable lack of leadership right now. The present roster of veterans is in a difficult situation. Stay silent and watch the ship drown, or speak up and jeopardize their own minutes. Clark's sense of loneliness has probably been exacerbated by this lack of outspoken support. Fighting the coach is one thing. Feeling that your teammates are complicit in the abuse is quite another. It appears that the WNBA sisterhood ends at the Team USA training facilities. The problem of the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles comes next. This is expected to be the pinnacle of USA basketball hosting games at home. Caitlin Clark is clearly at the center of the marketing strategy for those games. The ticket vendor is she. At the Crypto.com arena, she is the one who will put butts in seats. The excitement disappears if she isn't on that team. The network Norketh the Games, NBC, must be terrified of this circumstance. They anticipated showcasing the biggest star, so they paid billions for rights fees. Without Clark, the USA would be akin to the 1992 Dream Squad without Michael Jordan. It's still good, but the magic is gone. There will be tremendous business pressure to end this conflict. Here's the twist though. They are not necessary for Clark. Reeve and the Federation were unable to account for this fundamental change in power. In the past, women's basketball players could only receive enormous endorsement bonuses and worldwide recognition through the Olympics. There is no longer that planet. Clark is already well known throughout the world. She sells out arenas in Las Vegas, New York, and Indianapolis. She has millions of fans, advertisements, and distinctive shoes. It's no longer Sunday, but the Olympics would be a lovely cherry on top. Clark is necessary for Team USA to remain relevant in the public discourse. Clark may be a superstar without being a member of Team USA. A failure in player development is also highlighted by this particular benching instance. A national team coach's responsibility is to put the best pieces together rather than crush the ones that don't match your preferred shape. Outstanding coaches, such as Coach K of the men's squad, modified their plans to accommodate LeBron, Kobe, and Durant's skill. Reeves' unwillingness to do the same for Clark is perceived as a coaching shortcoming rather than a player shortcoming. It conveys a sense of unease and a worry that the coach's authority will be undermined if Clark is successful in playing her way. The sport itself is harmed by the collateral in this ego war. The unparalleled league and other off-season opportunities must also be taken into account. The appeal of playing for Team USA for free is virtually dwindling as other leagues emerge that offer players enormous incomes and equity. Why would a player put their physical and emotional well-being at risk in a poisonous environment? Clark has a choice. During her off-season, she can focus on strengthening her body, honing her skills, and participating in leagues that embrace rather than stifle her potential. In reality, she made a sensible business decision to resign. When you can manage your own company, why work for a boss that despises you? The media environment has changed as well. In the past, favorable journalists allowed the federation to dominate the narrative. These days, social media platforms, podcasts, and independent producers are analyzing every item. Thousands of fans who are familiar with the game quickly analyzed the leaked news of the benching. The truth cannot be concealed. Everything is examined in the video, including the statistics and body language. The internet displays the receipts, refuting Reeves' allegation that Clark was sidelined for basketball-related reasons. Gaslighting is no longer effective. What comes next, then? USA Basketball has the upper hand. Their next deck will be determined by the choice they choose. Do they support their coach, thereby barring the world's most popular player from playing for their country? Or do they make a change at the top, hiring a coach who knows how to handle contemporary superstars? There are already rumors that coaches who have publicly lauded Clark are having back-channel talks to see how interested they are. Everyone will be aware of the true reason if Reeve is fired, even if it will be presented as an amicable parting. They run the possibility of a full-fledged fan boycott, though, if they continue with Reeve. When Clark is benched in the WNBA, we have already witnessed a decline in viewership. Imagine the ratings catastrophe that would result from an Olympic team purposefully excluding retail sales. In the current game of chicken, USA Basketball is riding a bicycle while Clark is operating a tank. She has all the leverage.